I was recently invited to a Penguin Classics dinner where I got to meet some of the people from the Penguin team and 4 other booktubers. At this dinner I met Sana from Books and Quills, Jean from Bookish Thoughts, Amy from Shout Amy, and Jen from Jen Campbell. I actually made a little vlog of my trip to London and a tiny bit of the Penguin Classics dinner, so if you want to watch that, I'll put it in the description. It was such a lovely night, not only because I got to meet some of the YouTubers who I've been watching for a really long time, but we got to talk about books for the entirety of the dinner. I know very little about publishing, so this was really fascinating actually, being able to see a little bit into kind of the behind the scenes things that go on when a book is published. One of the things that we talked about, which I think made us all really passionate, was the soft covers on the Penguin English Library editions. You may have noticed that some of the English Library editions have become matte, and they are no longer these beautiful soft rubbery covers. We were all saying how much we want to keep these soft covers in comparison to go into the matte covers, and I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts whether you preferred a matte cover to a book or a soft cover. Penguin were kind enough to give each of us a tote bag full of books. On the bag it says Oceans of Books, and look at this design. I think that's absolutely beautiful. So first of all, Penguin Classics catalogue. For me this is perfect because I love making lists of all the books that I want to read, and ticking them off when I've read them is just such a satisfying feeling. Henry Miller, The World of Sex. The World of Sex is Henry Miller's literary manifesto about the importance of sex and the representation of sex in literature. The bulk of my readers, I've often observed, fall into 2 distinct groups. In one group, those who claim to be repelled or disgusted by the liberal dosage of sex, and in the other those who are delighted to find that this element forms such a large ingredient. Segon's Bonjour Tristesse. I have always wanted to read Bonjour Tristesse. It's always been one of those books that has been on a list and I'll get to eventually, but now I own the copy, I have no excuse not to read it. This edition actually contains 2 novellas, Bonjour Tristesse and A Certain Smile. Notably, this edition also has all of the sex scenes put back in it that were removed when the book came to England in the 1950s. Reading Lolita in Tehran by Azan Nafisi. This is a piece of non-fiction about a professor who taught forbidden pieces of Western literature in Tehran. It is all about the importance and the power of literature and how books bring people together. On a side note, this is also the first Penguin Classic to feature a Penguin Classic on the cover. We were also given 2 copies of Penguin's new magazine, The Happy Reader. When I first heard about The Happy Reader, I was a little bit suspicious because I thought that it would just be trying to sell me things all of the time, but I couldn't have been more wrong. Each magazine talks to a bookish person about their favourite books, about recommended reading for that season, and there's also a whole section that focuses on the book of the season. They then link that book and literature in general to art, to fashion, to film, and to music. The magazine is just absolutely beautiful. Each of us were given a cloth-bound classic, although we didn't know which one we were going to have because we just picked up the bags at random. I was lucky enough to have Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert. I can't even tell you how excited I was to see that I'd got Madame Bovary, because there's a new film coming out and I'm desperate to read the book before I watch the film. And one of my biggest interests in literature is the representation of women, and in particular women having extramarital affairs, and looking at marriage maybe as the gilded cage, as imprisonment, and looking at how women try to escape their marriages in 19th century writing. I also find it really fascinating that they've used a pomegranate as the pattern. Pomegranates are symbolic of prosperity and fertility, but they're also symbolic of the forbidden fruit, which I think really links in with the story of Madame Bovary. It even comes with a little bookmark thing. Oh, I'm in love. I was also given some more little black classics. The Life of a Stupid Man, The Dhammapada, How to Use Your Enemies, How Much Land Does a Man Need, Circe, and The Cyclops. So now I have even more to add to my collection. 2 books from Georges Simenon. I hope I'm saying that right. I haven't actually read that much detective fiction, and these are only tiny, so they're a really good place to start. There is also going to be a new adaptation of this series, which is even more of an incentive to read them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you've read any of the books, please let me know. I had an absolutely lovely time in London, meeting some of my favourite YouTubers and speaking to people in publishing, which is something I've never done before. So I'd like to say thank you to Penguin Classics for this goodie bag and for inviting me, and thank you to you for watching.